Hi, I'm Asha Gillies and welcome to my webinar. Today I'll be discussing the novel of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and whether it is a homage or warning to modern day scientists. First, I'll be presenting the summary, then I'll explain Shelley's messages, and then finally I'll explain a modern scientific pursuit. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley all begins when Captain Walton and his crew are on a ship and they see a big man go by on a dog sled. A few moments later, they see a normal-sized man chasing him. Since this man is almost dead from exposure, they take him aboard. They become friends, and Frankenstein tells Walton his story. Victor figures out how to create life from lifeless matter, and from body and animal parts, he reanimated this hideous monster. He is terrified and runs away. Rejected by his creator and society, the monster ends up secretly listening to a family where he learns to read and write. He is so lonely, so he tries to talk to the family, but they are so scared and run away. So now the monster tries to go look for Victor. On his way there, he kills his little brother for revenge. The creature asks Victor to make him a female companion so he's not so lonely. Victor agrees, however, he changes his mind. The monster is furious, so he kills Frankenstein's best friend and then his cousin/lover. Now Victor is furious, so now he decides to go after the monster. The chase went far north, and that's when he finally came upon Walton. That was the story of how Victor ended up there. Shortly after he told Walton, Frankenstein died. After his death, the monster comes to say his farewell. Then he realizes he is now more lonely than ever and kills himself. Now we ask ourselves, is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein a warning or homage to modern scientists? Now let's take a closer look. Let's look at this from an ethical point of view. So let's ask ourselves, did the creature want this? Probably not. His existence is totally the result of an ambitious scientist. Then, on top of that, he was neglected. The monster had no guide, no center, no introduction, and no home. Because of this, Victor turns his creation into a monster both physically and mentally. Is this right, and is this fair for the monster? This is one among many ethical issues within this novel. Now let's take a look at responsibility. I think that one of Shelley's messages is that scientists have to take responsibility of their creation, and with responsibility comes accountability. Unlike Victor, who made his creature and was unprepared to take responsibility of it. Instead, he completely neglected him. Next, let's take a look at dangerous knowledge. In the book, Victor wants to go beyond human limits. Scientists have to be careful of what they pursue because knowledge can be dangerous. Frankenstein created his creature because he had the knowledge to do it. But he didn't consider the consequences, which brings me to my next point, which is that unchecked ambitions can lead to disastrous consequences. Because Victor neglected his creation, the creature murdered Victor's friends and family, Victor's death, and also the monster's death. Ultimately, all the consequences were negative. These are the reasons why Frankenstein by Mary Shelley is a cautionary tale. Let's shift our focus to modern scientific pursuit, artificial intelligence. Some of you may be asking, what is artificial intelligence? Well, it's basically all technology. To John McCarthy, it is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. From digital personal assistants like Siri and smart search algorithms in Google to experiment self-driving cars. Our phones can be considered artificial intelligence, However, scientists are working on drastically advancing this technology by making computers think for themselves. Let's take back ethics. A computer doesn't have feelings or morals, therefore isn't capable of knowing what's right or wrong. So this may cause issues for technology that can think for themselves. An example is imagine if you're going down a road and you swerve out of control and you have the choice between the ditch or hitting someone. Obviously you're going to try and hit the ditch. But imagine if it's a computer deciding. Will this computer make the right choice and go for the ditch and not the person? Now let's take back responsibility. For artificial intelligence, it's important that scientists take responsibility of their inventions. Boston Dynamics is a good example of this. They are a company who builds robots based on artificial intelligence. Some robots may have 2 arms and legs like humans, and some have the resemblance of a dog. They use different algorithms to program the robots to either pick up boxes or bring supplies to a group of people in dangerous places. Scientists won't stop until they have developed the perfect robot. The perfect robot may have the algorithm to learn. This can lead to the robot upgrading themselves, making themselves better, and able to complete more technical tasks. At this point, someone has to take responsibility for the robot's actions. Otherwise, this robot can do whatever it wants. And what are we going to do? Arrest the robot? Dangerous knowledge. The knowledge to make computers think for themselves is frightening and may lead to consequences, which I will explore next. Now I'll explain a couple of consequences that may arise from artificial intelligence. So some people have a fear of a rise of killer robots. However, the biggest risk and most realistic risk is the economical side of things. This can create great wealth and even greater wealth disparity. Experts predict that robots will replace humans in 1/3 of today's traditional professions by 2025. Stephen Hawking says, potentially our worst mistake in history. In conclusion, artificial intelligence is one among many modern scientific pursuits that raises some of the same concerns addressed in Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Shelley's take-home messages are: consider the ethical issues, take responsibility of your creation, knowledge can be dangerous, and consider the consequences. I believe that Mary Shelley understands the risk of experimentation and creation. Well, that's the end of my webinar. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, you could just email me.